moment you stop running, the moment you stop fighting, is the day you will lose it. That dream is not going to wait and say, take a breather. It's going to say, come catch me. Catch me if you can.
Yokohama.
Warm welcome to everybody watching from around the world and, of course, the Malaysian motorsports community. It is the Malaysia Championship Series 2019, a brand new season of Malaysia's National Touring Car Championship up here at the Sepang International Circuit. And for once this year, starting, as you can see, at night. It is a wet night race. Well, it's been drying up a little bit. My name is Jeevan Selvanathan. And for the third year of this official live stream of the Sepang International Circuit, it is my great honor to bring you a hotbed of Malaysian talent, which is exactly what the Malaysian Championship Series actually is. It is a great place for all of the big names in the Malaysian motorsport community to show their mettle and to, of course, race over the 5 rounds of action, a very specific format that happens with the MCS, and that is, of course, 5 rounds, the first 4 being weekends. 1 race on the Saturday, 1 race on the Sunday, sometimes both on the same day, hardly ever. And of course, a 300-kilometer endurance race for round 5, and that's going to be coming up a little bit later on in the year, or at the end of the year. That's the circuit, world famous, of course, designed by Herman Tilke, in action for many years now. 5.543 kilometers circuit length, 15 corners, and of course that 927-meter straight, that home straight that everybody loves. And I'm talking, when I say everybody, I do, of course, mean all classes of car, as the Sepang International Circuit is essentially a regional motorsports hub. Now, that's something very interesting that's happening this year, something new that's happening this year, something brand new that's happening this year. The EWC Malaysia World Finals from the 13th to 15th of December. If you want to get more details on it, just check the official website, and you can, of course, check that website, www.sepangcircuit.com, for all information regarding all the championships. But this is a very special event happening on the 13th of December. It was announced at the Motorsports Association of Malaysia Awards this year. That was in February. And it is essentially a motorsports festival that has 2 wheels and 4 wheels. I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a second. Don't obviously forget the big MotoGP race as well. One, the 1st of November. mark that down in your calendars. The MCS calendar, of course, 5 rounds, MSBK. The Superbike Championship will be returning to the Sepang International Circuit as well. So as you can see, just for the home events, there is a rich calendar about to start. All starts today, of course. This is the opening day of the National Motorsport Year in Malaysia. But of course, it wasn't the only championship happening today. The MCS does run in conjunction with a lot of other championships that do visit this circuit. The F4C Championship was in today as well. There was a couple of races. Hadrian David, big winner in that. TCR Asia kicked off the morning. Luca Engsler, I know, was the winner there. F3 Asia Championship also raced today as well. And Ukyo Sasahara was the big winner there. Each of those championships will be having race twos and conclusions tomorrow, as will, of course, the MCS as well. So let's just sort that out now for this round one, race one. Minutes away. It's going to be starting just about 10 to 9. And then race 2 will be tomorrow just after noon. Also, can't forget the Blancpain GT Asia Challenge. That's also up here as well. That's going to be happening just beforehand. If you want to find out more about all the events and the event schedule, then again, just pick up your portable device or your laptop, or get yourself down to an internet cafe for www.sepangcircuit.com. All the information you need to know there. And of course, lots of other initiatives and packages available from the Sepang International Circuit. You just saw on your screen that you can test your car up here. How cool is that? You can actually take your own car onto this FIA Grade 1 circuit. Once again, get on the website to find out more about that. And of course, a go-kart circuit up here. Lots of initiatives and things to do up in Sepang other than just the racing. That is the second paddock you're watching in the background. The car is going to be launching from that in a second. A couple of big names, obviously, in the Malaysian Championship Series that we'll be looking out for this year as well. Mark Darwin, Akid Azli, both of them qualified for pole in the Friday qualifying session. But also some new names as well. Leona Chin is going to be racing for Tedco Racing. Leona, of course, Malaysian motorsport fans will be very familiar with, as she is essentially the best drifter in the country, ex-drift champion, in fact, and is now taken to the other side of four-wheel driving, which is racing. What a great place to start up here, so we wish her the best. 3 classes, actually 4 classes of car will be racing. There is the touring production class, there is the MTC, the Malaysia Touring class, and the Sport Production 1 and 2 classes, those S2000 powertrain cars. The 2-liter cars will be up there as well. And of course, podiums will be following. We'll be getting down to the grid as soon as it's ready. And we have our grid presenter down there, Alsh, who's going to be getting you all the interviews with all these drivers that have been waiting now for this championship to start. And it really is very much about that. It is about them coming up, and you know, they all know each other so well. It's very hard to describe. It's a very close-knit group of drivers. They all race on this circuit, of course, for the 5 rounds. And 2 of those will be happening here in this first month. Now, one other thing that we should mention, of course, is a big welcome. We've welcomed a couple of the new drivers. We've welcomed our well-known, familiar names. Well, there are 2 names that are hoping to become even more familiar this year, and that is Adi Rahimi Rashid and Angeline Lee. Now, these 2 names might seem familiar to you because those were the 2 winners of the EMCS Championship that happened last year. If you were watching the races last year, you would have heard me talking about it as the cars start leaving the paddock for the first time this year. But the EMCS Championship essentially took gamers in conjunction with Race Room Entertainment last year. They took gamers, and there were simulators that were set up here at Sepang that ran in concurrent time with the races. Well, those winners are taking part as well. Now, we should be getting ready to go down. Just heard that with these cars coming out, they'll be setting themselves up. Formation lap, of course. And just as a tail to that, I can tell you now. Well, there is Alsh. Let's get down to the grid.
Saturday night, live at the Sepang International Circuit for this year, 2019 Malaysian Championship Series. So as you can see, all the cars are rolling out. We're about to start the race. So when we come back, we will be live at the starting grid with the drivers. Now, it's back to you, Jeevan.
Well, we'll be getting back down to Alsh on the grid as soon as he is ready. Looks like that is a beautiful shot, isn't it, of turn 1 and turn 2 as the cars get out onto what should be their sighting lap. Not the first time that the Malaysian Championship Series has started in the evening, probably the latest time it has started in my memory. Of course, this is the 4th season of the Malaysian Championship Series. Now, 3 of those seasons, of course, live streamed to all of you. And one of them, I think it was 2 years back, did start at about 7 p.m. But that's not going to stop these guys. The track looking a lot drier than it has been all day. It has been a very rainy day in Malaysia. Quite oddly, actually, as rainy season should have actually stopped by now, but it's been very odd all around the world in terms of weather, so we're just not complaining that it looks to be the driest track that we've had today. There were showers as recent as 20 minutes, half an hour ago. So I have to wait for a closer view to see if these cars are starting on wets or slicks, but I can't see any spray being kicked up, so most probably on slicks. There's another great shot. These lights have, of course, been in use before up at the Sepang International Circuit for another one of the events, the S1K, the Sepang 1000. That is essentially a 10-hour race. And this year, they will be used again for that EWC weekend. While these guys are out on their sighting lap, maybe I can get a little few more details for you on that. And that is going to be the first ever 8 hours of Sepang. It's quite an exciting time. So again, mark that down in your calendar. The 13th to 15th of December weekend, 8-hour race that's going to serve as a qualifier for the 8 hours of Suzuka. That's a very famous 8-hour race. It's the first ever time, of course, that this has happened. It's a TCR FIM EWC weekend. So all 3 of those championships, the World Touring Car Championship, the Motorcycle FIM Championship, and of course the EWC as well, coming here. Very exciting times, and expect me to be telling you a lot about that as we get through the season. Now, getting onto the grid looking like it's forming up. Specific regulations, there'll be a 10-minute board and a 5-minute board. And at each of those times, if you are new to grid politics, you can say, or grid protocol, those technicians and a different degree of personnel will be allowed to stay on the grid as each of those boards count down. We're about 10 minutes away from the race now. Oh, Lamborghini Super Trofeo was also one of the championships. Very busy day up at Sepang today with all these championships in place. And just before we start, a big round of applause and praise to all the officials and stewards and logistical staff that have actually kept all of these championships. Don't forget, each of them have qualifying sessions, each of them have free practice sessions, drivers briefings, and of course their races as well. Most of them with 2 races, but in the case of F3, actually F4, see 3 races a weekend there as well. Now, looking down the starting list, I can see those names that made such a big impact last year. Akid Azli this year teaming up with Mark Darwin, the current reigning champion in the touring production class. Pretty faultless run from him actually last year. Notched up 4 wins. So each round, of course, with 2 races, and Mark picked up wins in round 1, round 3, a double in round 4, and that gave him 84 points. Baron Sim was in 2nd. And Akid Azli, now his teammate, actually finished up in 3rd with 74 points. In S Production 1, it was Mohammed Nasri Said, who was starting from 4th on the grid by the looks of it. Today, I have to just check on that, with 136 points. That was a pretty faultless performance from him in the SP1 class That was a win in the second in round 1, win the second in round 2, and wins in round 3 and round 4 as well. And round 5, well, that was a straight 30 points there. Brendan Paul and CY Ong, well, they had a great fight in the MTC class with Brendan Lim, Nick Ma, Farid Sani, Ju Lao, and even Danny Chin and Yap Wai Keng, I have to say. So 5 cars in that. Mitchell Chia was also one of the big names that took part last year. Mitchell Chia, of course, one of the reigning champions, well, previous champions, I should say now, from MCS, and widely considered to be one of the fastest men in Malaysia in a touring car. And has also been racing a lot of other championships as well. He was TCR Asia, I remember. And Abdul Katir was the winner from
As promised, we are now in the starting grid for round 1 of the Malaysian Championship Series. And with me at pole position is car number 11 with driver Akid Azli. So Akid from Fast Auto Works. So Akid, what do you feel and how are you going to start the season for tonight?
I say the best, actually say the best now. I think I will maintain the pace so that Matt will be drive the second spin, then we will try to push.
So what is your strategy for tonight besides having Mark as a partner or co-driver for the team?
I try to put in early so that after that when we chase to the mark, then Mark will be put over all the way until we finish second lap. Yeah.
All right, so in TP, who do you think is going to give you the biggest challenge for round 1?
Yeah, I think it's in the beside me, this is Alai, in the Iron Gideon. So this is he is the biggest challenge for me. Yeah.
All the best for tonight, Akid. All right, back to you, Jeevan.
Well, still a couple of transmission problems there, but we will get back down to the grid and sort those problems out just as soon as we can. Right now, though, I can tell you that what you did hear little bits of what was said just then, and each of these drivers, I'm sure, just looking forward to getting this championship back underway, because it really is a continuing thing. It's not, of course, linked to last year's championship, but because it is a great set of drivers, and these cars, these Honda FD2s, are very, I said, getting around this track, they do kind of pick the same line, and each of these drivers knows the driving style of their competitors very, very closely as well. So it should be a very, very good race, and we're hoping to see 15 points for the win, 12 for the second, 10 for the third, to kick off these championship standings.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back in the starting grid. At second place is car number 3, and I'm with one of the drivers, which is Abdul Kadir Muhammad. Kadir, can I call you Kadir? Yeah. All right, so what is going to be your plan for tonight?
I think the track is quite tricky because it's raining just now, things haven't dried out. So I think this is the first round, and this is the first race. So we play a little bit safe and try to carry as much point as we can for the championship.
All right, thank you very much. There you have it, Abdul Kadir. Now it's back to you, Jeevan.
Thanks a lot, Aush. That was Abdul Katir. I was just saying, one of our engineering drivers from last year that picked up an incredible amount of points. That was a double win in round 2, double win in round 3, a win in round 5, round 4 as well, and 105 points to take that category. So Sporting Production 2, Sport Production 1, MTC and TP, Touring Production, the classes that will be fought out. And Zed, with the way some of these drivers do perform, it's going to be very interesting to see how quickly they can rack up good point scores. Now, about 5 minutes away from the race, let's get some of the format for the race sorted out. You do know, of course, there's race 1 tonight at 8:50. Race 2 tomorrow is at 12:20. During the race, of course, full course yellows. Should anything happen, safety car will come out and all the cars will have to trail off. Rolling start is what we're going to start with. And there's going to be that one key significant pit stop in this Malaysian Championship Series races, not quite sprint races, a bit longer than the sprint races, so there is a pit stop in there, and that will be a compulsory window at some point between the 25th minute and the 40th minute of the race. Race, of course, 1 hour plus leader. should see about 22 to 23 laps based on the 2:28, 2:29 lap times that these guys can rack up. It's on a dry day. Just looking at the qualifying sheets now, is a 2:27.742 that actually got pole in the end for Mark Darwin and Akid Azli. 2:29 and 2:30 for Abdul Qadir in second, and Tae Kian Bun in third. Nasri Saad and Kifli Othman paired up for our engineering in the Honda DS5 today. They're starting from fourth on the grid. There's Ken Urata, Masahiko Ida, also competitors last year. Great to see them all nice sprightly up at nighttime as well. And it's not just Honda FD2Rs and Suzuki Swifts in the MTC class. We also have, of course, a Mercedes AMG here as well, and that is in the touring production class. So, about ready now. You can hear the engines roaring for the first time this year. They should be ready to set off on their formation lap. Once again, race director and race control will be keeping us updated, and I'll be keeping you updated through them as to any infringements. I can tell you now, with touring car racing, if you're a touring car fan, there's pretty much a good chance of infringements. These cars very high off the ground, and really are a lot of fun when they start getting into these corners. As we pan up the grid. That's Shafiq Shamsuddin and Shasha Shafi. Looking up the SP1 and MTC part of the grid. Just about ready to get underway. If you just joined us, race one, round one of the Malaysian Championship Series 2019 up here at the Sepang International Circuit in Malaysia. A night race, no longer a wet race, I don't think. Nope, looks pretty dry enough to me, but it has been wet all day with the undulation of the course. We're gonna have to wait and see the first few laps as to whether there are little patches of water around or patches of moisture that are going to affect these cars. I can see Rashid Ramlan on the start sheet, good to see. Angeline Lee, one of those EMCS winners in the SIC Dream Chaser team with Sophia Menzenba. That's an all-female lineup there in the number 9 car. Alif Hamdan, another one of the big names. 1 minute left. So once again, the big names, well, that is number 11, different color car this year. Iridescent blue last year, red this year. That's Akid Azli and Mark Darwin. Akid Azli will be happy with that color. He was, of course, racing in that color last year. And they're topping the touring production class. Highest sport production one, Ken Urata and Masahiko Ito that we saw. And highest MTC is Leona Chin. Of course, that is a pole for Leona Chin in her first MCS race as well. And wouldn't it be great if we could see Leona actually take that win and become, if I'm right, the first female winner of an MCS class. And off they go onto their formation lap. Remember, race control, the race director has the right to keep these formation laps going until they are happy, or he's happy, and all the cars are in the right position. For the grid, it'll be a rolling start when they do come around. See, starting on the back straight there, so that is actually turn 15. And this gives us a great chance to get to know Sepang. If you didn't already know Sepang, this track, absolutely legendary for the way it's been set up. It was designed for F1, of course. Onto the home straight, pretty much flat out here. Let's look at the starting grid while that happens. Akid Azli, Mark Darwin with that 2:27.742 to be on pole. Abdul Qadir Lai Wei Sing in second. Tae Kian Bun and Desmond So on third on the grid. Nasri Saad and Kifli Othman, great partnership there in fourth. That's row 2. Row 3, Ken Urata and Masahiko Ida and Brendan Paul in sixth position. William Ho, Rocky Xiao in seventh. Zuraimi and Ahmad Tami in eighth. Leona Chin there, topping the MTC class with Ma Siu Chan and Paul Fun just behind her in 10th. Hong Chi Yong, Adam Khalid and Leon Koo in 11th and 12th. Chin Hua Lip, Admi Sharul, Farid Sani and Ju Yong in 14th. They had a great season last year. Benny Tai, Chok Kei Jun, Chai Kok Ho and Wong Hao Rin in 15th and 16th on row 8. Row 9, Shazuli Hisham Harun and Chong Kiat Wai Takahisha Ito. And that is one of those EMCS winners, Adi Rahimi Rashid, 249.490, not bad. And Hayden Mohammed Heikel, 19th and 20th. Hafiz Bachok, Ahmed Tamimi in 21st, Nasharud and Nurul Husna in 22nd. Now we're not done yet. Big field, Tam Yu Ki and Lokai Fung in 23rd, Rashid Ramlan and Mohanjit Singh in 24th. Shafiq and Shasa Shafi 25th, Mirza Shahimi and Faisal Hakimi in 26th, Azman Razali, Hamizan Hakim in 27th, and Angeline Lee and Sophia Menzeba in 28th. The other EMCS winner from last year, Larry CS On and Mashlina Buang in 29th and 30th. There should be one left, that's right, Alif Hamdan. Used to be the other side of the grid, 31st in row 16. And once again, a big shout out to those EMCS winners. This time last year, they were sitting in a race room simulator for race 1 and racking up their first points, Adi and Angeline. We wish them all the best here. I haven't heard of another initiative like it in the motorsports world where the Sepang International Circuit, the organizers and the logistics set up this event for the gamers. They won over the 5 rounds, and then after that were actually brought up to speed to be racers, i.e. they got the right accreditation, classifications, testing, of course, training, everything that you need to do. And now this is their big moment, because now that race room entertainment simulator has turned into an actual touring car, which is what it was all about. And of course, the championship itself was to unearth new talent in Malaysia. And it has to be said that Adi and Angeline do actually have 9-to-5 day jobs. Adi is the son of a driving instructor. Angeline works for one of the motorsport publications in Malaysia. So I don't know if they're going to be giving it up that quickly, but let's just see how well they do in this race and this championship, because what a story that would be. So the field coming up the back straight now towards turn 15. All looking nice and lined up. This is the moment they've been waiting for. The Championship Series, of course, ended last year, around about October. This year is about to start. Right now, there are the red lights. We're all moving up to attack speed, and those red lights are going to go green. And they do, and the 2019 Malaysian Championship Series is underway. Now, that looks like Mark Darwin has dropped down the order. Something has happened to our pole position sitter. That is a bit of a change indeed. Everyone taking it nice and easy into turns 1 and 2. It might be a drier circuit now, but nobody wants to get caught up. Now I can see that that might just be, it is indeed Mark Darwin way down the field. Something has happened. Could have been a that you just see leaving the side of your screen. That was our pole sitter. Possibly dropped a gear off the start, but lost a lot of ground. Now in these night conditions, we're going to have to wait for some very clear lines of sight before we can start telling you who's who and who's doing what. And of course, by all means, if you are watching on the Facebook official live stream, if you'd like to get your comments in, we'd love to hear from them. Well, that looks like one of the Lamborghini Super Trofoes that shouldn't really be out here, to be honest. It's a different ball game now. So about to complete first lap. Another great shot of the lights here at the Sepang International Circuit, and down into 9 and 10. Already getting their track position sorted out, as you can see in the top left of your screen. 53 minutes left to go, and that is an early move. That's Mohamed Nasri's side in the blue and yellow. Has just taken second spot from Abdul Qadir Mohammed. That was the number 23 car. So a great move there, and that would mean that should be Tae Kian Bun and Desmond So up front. Lightning start from them if it is. And as you can see, no Mark Darwin to speak of so far. So lap 1 is completed, and the standings, well, we've already had early retirement there. I think that's Leon Koo. Sorry, correction, Azman Razali in MTC. A little bit seems to be fine now. Must have just misjudged the corner. So as it stands right now, I was correct. Tae Kian Bun, Desmond So up front. Nasri Saad in second. Abdul Qadir in third. William Ho in fourth. Brendan Paul in fifth. Ken Urata in sixth. Leona Chin is up to seventh from ninth. Now, where is Mark Darwin right now? And Akid Azli? Well, believe it or not, they're down in 28th position. So something has definitely happened to that car. And we're going to have to get an update very soon. They've just put in a 3-minute 25 lap, which is roughly a minute and 15 seconds slower than our leaders. So hopefully they're going to have to, it's the worst time possible for a stall or an engine failure to happen. Now, they are still getting around the track, so it isn't an engine failure as of yet. But a lot of questions asked there as we get a huge bunch up into turn 5. And there, the current split times, the top 18, 31 competitors. 2 of them currently unaccounted for, you could say. That's our defending champion, Mark Darwin, and Azman Razali. Might be Akid Azli in that car to start off, but either way, the car isn't doing much right now. Meanwhile, up at the front, Tae Kian Bun and Desmond So, well, they're putting in the fastest sectors for sure in that Mercedes AMG A45. And there's a great shot of the teams. It's not just about one man, 2 men even, or in some cases 2 women. And the car, it's a whole group of technicians. Now that was the Dream Chaser 100 car from Adam Khalid that had a pretty charmed life last year. Ong Chi Yong partnered up with him this time, running in 10th right now, running 250 laps. Adam Khalid, one of the TCR Malaysia talents. There are, of course, a lot of drivers that have, in a sense, graduated through SIC. They have their own ZK racing team for a number of other championships as well. But there are a lot of development teams here. A lot of these names, these drivers have come through this wonderful program they have up at the circuit. Still Taekan Bun and Desmond So up front. That looks like Leona Chin in the middle of this pack here. That's Paul Fun up front. Mohamed Zoraimi just behind her. Leona Chin in the dark blue Suzuki Swift in the middle. And currently leading that MTC class overall in 8th. Now that was Mohamed Zoraimi Mustafa. That is Leona going past him on the inside just after turn 5. A lot of downforce needed there, a lot of power. And you can just see a bit of spray being kicked up on that corner. And that's what I was saying about varying moisture around the track based on the large amount of rain that came down today. It is drying up, it has been drying up, maybe not as fast as people would think. Now this is a big battle. Paul Fun, Leona Chin and Mohamed Zoraimi. The 2R engineering cars, and that is the car that we were talking about. Akid Azli, Mark Darwin, the pole sitting car is now sitting in the pits. And as you can see from the body language, there's nothing happening. That car, it looks like they've started it up again, but they're going to be very, very far behind now. Only car in the pits right now. Well, that's a big story, a very big story from one of the most consistent finishers from last year in the pits. And we just heard that the track temperature is 30.4. It's actually pretty low for Sepang, but it is nighttime. And how about that? With a roar, it looks like it's back up now. Just make sure you're keeping at pit lane speeds. There should be Akid Azli in that car first, which means Mark Darwin will come in after the actual pit stop. Once again, between the 25th and 40th minute, that will be called. If I can tell you now, it'll be open from 9:15. About 12 minutes from now, the pit window will be open. And one of the signature sites for the Malaysian Championship Series is a slew of cars coming in now as they start lap 4. Once again, our standings, Taekan Bun, Desmond So, with lightning start from them to get up from 4th on the grid up to the front. Mohamed Nasri Said and Kifli Othman in 2nd spot. That's going to be great for Kifli, one of the big names that didn't really perform last year. He's going to be looking for a good start here. Abdul Qatir, winner of the SP2 class last year, up to 3rd with Laiwi Singh. The stalwart performance for our engineering. Good signing for our engineering there. And Brendan Paul up in 4th as well. Brendan Paul, don't forget, was in the MTC class before, and he's now up in Sport Production 1. Much bigger car. So as we stand in terms of classes, well, Taekan Bun, Desmond So topping Touring Production. Brendan Paul topping Sport Production 1. Chong Kiat Wai is currently in the lead for Rios Racing for Sport Production 2. And Leona Chin is heading up the MTC class in 8th overall. And still having a very, very tight battle indeed with Paul Fun and Mohamed Zoraimi. There's just less than a second in that right now for 7th, 8th, and 9th. Now this is going to be a great platform for these engineers, mechanics and technicians, team members to be picking up some valuable data for race 2 that'll be tomorrow, just after noon. That is that fight for 7th, 8th, and 9th. And now Ong Chi Yong in that Proton Satria is beginning to join that pack. Into turn 9. Very tight there. We've seen a lot of incidents on that corner. MTC battle as it rages on into the faster part of the course. That is the second half. So far, our EMCS winners doing well in their first race. Adi Rahimi Rashid in 17th. Angeline Lean 26th right now. I'm sure they're just going to be using this race to get used to this new reality of theirs, which is really what it is. They were very fast in the simulators. And just to confirm once again, the pit window, the solitary significant pit window for the Malaysian Championship Series Race 1 will be open in about 6 minutes from now, 9:15 local Malaysian time. And as I said, don't be surprised to see a lot of cars coming in at the same time. Some of the other drivers there. The MCS, all smiles that the season is underway again. Now, while we settle into these middle laps, once again, if you want to find out more about the Malaysian Championship Series or any of the championships happening up here at the Sepang International Circuit, it's the MSBK Superbike Championships, S1K, the Sepang 1,000 kilometer end of year race, and this new EWC weekend happening on the 13th to 15th of December. Log on to the website, www.sepangcircuit.com. I'd love to tell you all about it now, but we have, as you can see, racing going on. There is Adi Rahimi Rashid, one of those EMCS winners, one of the events that was happening last year that I was telling him about. Now he's actually in it. And we have had a tiny tap on the wrist from race control, first of the season, for all drivers to please respect track limits. Keep it on the black stuff. Just see the difference there in S Production 2. Nicely spread out that grid. Chongkiat Y still leading that. That is Adi Rahimi Rashid. You just saw in your screen. It's in the middle of that pack. So coming into turns 9 and 10. That's Shazuli Hisham Harun, the 69 car, in the middle of that pack. Currently in 5th in the MTC class, so that essentially is looking like a very tight battle indeed. The MTC class currently delivering when it comes to the battles. The touring production class spreading out a little bit. Check in with them in just a second. Hafiz Bachok and Chin Hua Lip, 16th, 17th, and 18th overall, and that looks like, well, that's Angeline Lee finding immediately, very early on lap 6, that it's a little bit different in a real racing car, but controlled that nicely and has brought it back on. All sorts of, there it is. Looks like turn 7, in fact. Wow, that was very lucky. But didn't show any signs of panic. And that's the kind of training that she has got in the off-season to get her ready for this debut, this race debut for her. I'm going to be keeping an eye, of course, on both of those new races. I want to make sure that they have the full safety precautions and understand what real racing is about. And that's no discredit to these race room simulators. They were very, very accurate, but traction, power to weight ratio, feeling the car moisture on the track, this kind of stuff was, of course, estimated by that software, and now it's the real deal. So once again, coming up in turn 10, that's Mohammed Zuraimi. Leona Chin now just behind him, so he's moved up into 8th. He's down to 9th. Ong Chi-yong at the end of that pack, the tail end of that pack. And second driver's getting ready because that pit window is now 5 minutes away from opening. Now, look, that's how close it is in the MTC right now. So Leonichin currently leading that class. So we've got 2 cars that I've just heard that are being looked into. And that, I think, it is Angeline Lee and Mohammed Nasri Saad, one from SP2 and one from Touring Production. Now, the first 2 cars will be logged in as receiving a summons. In fact, sorry, not car 77. I apologize to Mohammed Nasri Saad. It's car 777. Very easy. Alif Hamdan is the driver of that car, and he's not currently in the attacking window. He's at 25th. So 25th and 27th. Angeline, for sure, because of that spin that we saw. Alif Hamdan, maybe it's for respecting track limits or disrespecting track limits, but both of them are under investigation by race control. So Angeline Lee getting a lot of quick lessons as to the MCS. 1, in controlling the car, but 2, that's the other thing you don't get in an EMCS simulator, race control. I'm sure now that they've heard that, they'll be adding it. That, meanwhile, on your screen is Brendan Paul moving up into S production this year in R engineering and doing very well indeed, topping that class right now. There he is. He was in a much smaller car last year, a Suzuki Swift. And that just goes to show there is a ladder within this championship for these drivers. And it looks like he is enjoying the extra power he's going to be getting from that bigger chassis, that bigger powertrain. Possibly having to deal with a lot more over and understeer. Suzuki Swift's notorious for gripping tracks very well. These big saloons, well, as you can see from the roll there at turn 15, they have a little bit of a harder time getting around there, but a lot of fun. Drivers love it. Taekan Boon and Desmond So still topping the touring production class. So a lot of incidents happening around the track. We'll keep you updated as far as we can. There's a warning flag for car 55. That was for being off track limits more than 4 times. That's why it's important. You see that white line right at the edge of the track and the other white line on the other side of the track? Well, those are the markers. Those are your boundaries and borders. And those are track limits. And if you do decide to take interesting and creative ways through these corners, well, that's what's going to happen. Race control have an eagle eye on every centimeter of this track. You can't get away with much. Pit window just about to open now. I've just heard it's 30 seconds away. A unique sight in the Malaysian Championship Series. All of these cars just pouring into the pits. And it's actually quite an achievement that we haven't seen more pit incidents with that amount of cars coming in at the same time. And that's a great shot there just to show you exactly how bright these lights are. And once again, usually get to see them in use as the track is pretty much packed. That's one of the reasons why the Malaysian Championship Series is running this late. There's so many championships running today. Final schedule. The pit window is now open, as you can see, and second drivers are getting ready already for that transition, that trade-off. It does have to be pretty quick. Now, the update on Akid Azli and Mark Darwin and that number 11. And that number 11 Honda, well, that's not looking too good. 3 laps completed, and it looks like even though they're out, they are now a good 6 laps behind the leaders. So not looking good for a points position in this first race. Maybe they can get everything sorted out. Remember, of course, it's a very quick turnaround this weekend for round 1. This race will end roughly about 10:30 with podiums and everything else, which means that they're going to have less than 12 hours before they have to get these cars back up for tomorrow's noon race. Once they get the cars off track and spruced up, and of course getting rest in as well, they're not going to have that many hours to get prepared tomorrow. So we're just keeping you updated on what's been happening with these cars. We did tell you that Alif Hamdan and Angeline Lee in car 777 and car 9 were both being investigated by race control. As we look at our race leader there, well, both of their decisions are going to be made after the race, which is probably quite good. And as you can see, the cars start coming in now. I'm sure that's going to help Angeline Lee a little bit to not have a drive-through penalty to also do. And that is Leona Chin, currently leading the MTC class in like clockwork, and so far a very good outing. So she's of course conceded the lead now to Ong Chi-yong. Adam Khalid should be getting in. The SIC racer should be getting into that Dream Chaser, high rev Dream Chaser car, but not just yet. He's not in the pits yet. That is of course the best strategy, to hang out on track for another lap or two and then try and engineer a quicker pit stop than your competitors, and possibly come back with greater track position. Now, that is Brendan Paul on the inside. That's actually lapping Nasharuddin Abdul Aziz. Brendan Paul, so far, looking like the MVD, the most valuable driver. That, by the way, is my own award that I started giving people last year. He started from 6th on the grid, moved up to 4th, but is putting in a very solid run. Not the fastest man on track at the moment. That is Tae Kian Bun, 2:33.369. Pretty good time, and also fastest in Sector 1. So fastest man by snapshot and fastest man in terms of current timing and actually moving around this track. No one is catching them right now. 5.966 seconds ahead of Nasri Saad in second, Abdul Qatir in third in touring production. And believe it or not, there is a massive drop-off right now before the next touring production car, but that's really because a lot of cars are coming into the pits. The positions generally do change in this pit window time. You never tell when they're going to come in. And they'll settle down for the second part of the race. There is Alif Hamdan. In fact, I think that's Lai Wei-Sing. That is an R Engineering car. Tell from the green, and that is in fact Abdul Qatir Mohammed and Lai Wei-Sing's R Engineering. Now, I noticed that they were spending a lot of time on the interior of that car. Didn't look as slick a changeover as it could have been. Meanwhile, up at turn 10, as you can see, these Suzuki Swifts in the MTC class are having an absolute belter for this round one. Benny Tai, Chai Korko, Shazuli Hisham, just 3 seconds between them. So the pit window, well, it's open for 5 minutes now. It's going to be shut in about 10 minutes. So not that many options these guys have. They're all going to have to come in at some point. Brendan Paul himself is going to have to come in at some point. But as you can see there, leading from Ken Urata, Masahiko Ida, and Paul Fan and Leon Koo, who were embroiled in that battle with Leona Chin earlier. But of course, being in a different class, it was actually Leona out on her own with some different people. And there's the R Engineering car still being worked on. As I said, I was wondering as the amount of time they were spending on that. The second driver gets in, so that should be Lai Wei-Sing. Very respected and experienced driver in MCS, Lai Wei-Sing. and more cars come in. There is Mohammed Hayden from the SD Wangan Racing team, and just ahead of him, Adi Rahimi Rashid in the number 90 car. So far, good performance from Adi. Don't forget, first ever racing experience, race debut. And that is Hafiz Bachok coming out. So Ahmad Tamimi should be getting into that car. Meanwhile, back on track, Mirza Shahimi with a good move on the outside into turn 1. Currently 14th overall, the SB2 class. And that is fourth position. That was Rashid Ramlan that conceded the line in that yellow Suzuki, now trying to fight back as they approach turn 4. And more cars streaming into the pits. 27 minutes left of the race. Right now, it's looking like a masterclass from Tae Kian Bun and Desmond. So that Mercedes AMG has really put a cat amongst the pigeons. And I wonder if that's going to be the car to watch this season. There is that fight. Mirza Shahimi fourth in the SB2. Rashid Ramlan, well, now third. Rashid Ramlan is now in fourth. And there's absolutely nothing between them. 0.4 of a second coming into 9 and 10. Leon Koo from R Engineering into the pits, all-white car. R Engineering, one of the standout teams from the last few years of MCS, whether it's combinations of drivers or whether it's just handling themselves in races. There were a lot of incidents last year. One thing has to be said about the Malaysian Championship Series, with all 5 of these rounds being run at the Sepang International Circuit, it is, of course, more subject to the very variable weather patterns you can have up here. And I remember one of the rounds last year, it was in fact race 2 of round 2, was an absolute downpour in the middle of the race for 6 laps, so strong that there were cars literally flying off the track. These touring cars, not too big on downforce, definitely not too big on grip, and so a sudden rain shower like that saw them literally flying off at turn 15. Man, it was really quite an achievement. They're all in there. It's that beautiful line of the Mercedes AMG. Popping its way through turn 10. Tae Kian Bun still in that car. And some 7.3 seconds ahead of Nasri Saad and Kifli Othman. Now, I was talking about Kifli Othman beforehand. Kifli Othman with the Dr. Mayhem racing team last year had a bit of a nightmare. Definitely by far one of the fastest drivers known up here at the Sepang International Circuit, but was plagued with a lot of electrical and gearbox problems at the Dr. Mayhem racing team. Now with R Engineering and running in second, and going to be looking to put some points on, well, a very friendly rivalry with Mark Darwin, because Mark Darwin last year, he was the one that was picking up all the points. That is another R Engineering car, Paul Fan, the solo driver in that. Now just checking in with the different classes as it stands right now. Still a lot of cars in the pits, don't forget. But Tae Kian Bun and Nasri Saad in first and second for touring production. Brendan Paul and Ken Urata with about 1 second beat between them, topping Sport Production 1. Sport Production 2, it's Tam Yu Ki and Lokai Fung from Rio's Racing, who are roughly 3 seconds ahead of the second place Nasharuddin Abdul Aziz. And in MTC, Adam Khalid should be behind the wheel now of that Dream Chaser car. Leona Chin still in second, and Benny Tai and Chok Kejun from Kigani Racing in third spot for MTC. So right now, that beautifully engineered Mercedes AMG A45 is proving that even with ballast on board, there is success ballast, of course, that's used for these cars as to get the balance of performance and to make sure that it's all on a level playing field. Even with that, is currently 7.9 seconds ahead of everybody else, but that was also down to a lightning start from them and a nightmare start, Akid Asni and Mark Darwin, who have still, we're still at the bottom of the grid right now, the bottom of the field, I should say, 31st place. 325 laps still being run by them, and only 4 laps completed. So even though we did see the car coming out of the pits, it is definitely still not functioning to its, or even close to its peak performance. So we're going to have to write out, with 22 minutes left, we're going to have to write out Akid Asni and Mark Darwin for this specific race. Let's see if they can come back for race 2. And that, of course, means that everybody else in the touring production class can rack up some points against a very fast driver indeed, and a very fast car as well. Now, having a look here at Benny Tai and Chok Kejun, running third right now in the MTC. That looks like a pre-routine pit stop for our leader, in fact, Tae Kyun Boon. I was actually thought that looked like a very familiar car. It is, they're in, they believe that they've got enough of a lead and the car performing well enough that they can come in and change their tires. And that, of course, would mean that Desmond So should be getting in that car now. And in the meantime, Mohamed Nasri Saad and Kifli Othman have taken the lead in touring production. So we've had a change of lead due to the pit window in pretty much all classes. They are also currently lapping at 2:33. Only 2 cars have broken into the 2:33 mark. It's Nasri Saad and Tae Kyun Boon. Now, in MTC, Rashid Ramlan tries on the outside, and he cuts back in on the inside, but Mirza Shaimi is not having any of it. There's been nothing between these 2 cars for the whole race. We're on lap 12 now. And there's 0.6 of a second between these 2 Suzuki Swifts. More than enough for a late braking move. Looks like Rashid Ramlan in the yellow 33 is going a little bit faster. Both of them come into the pits. They've literally carried on their struggle into the pits. And Rashid Ramlan's now going to have to observe pit protocols. And they've literally come in the last minute of the pit window, as we've just heard that it is closed. Now, I know a lot of you watching from around the world are going to be thinking, well, hold on a second, should we not let them in? Well, I think it's really a question of the pit lane. So they've timed it right to the end. They wanted to get as much of an advantage as they could. Let's see if it works out for them. So after this last set of cars in the pit window, give them a couple of laps to settle into their driving styles again, and then we'll have a look. Right now, the top 3 in touring production, all in the pits. They all waited right to the last minute. So Kifli Othman will be getting into that car, and he should be taking the lead. That is the car, and we should be seeing him make the change. our leading car in touring production. And that does look like Keithley getting in. Just saw a shot of him in the pits, actually. Looked, as always, focused and ready for what he's about to do. Now, they only had about 7 seconds of a lead when they went into the pits. It's going to be interesting to see how those two, the R Engineering car and the SD Wangan Racing team, exactly how much is going to be between them, because that is, one of them came in at the, well, they both came in at the end of the pit window, really. 18 minutes left. Do stick around after the race, because there will be, of course, the 4 podiums for prize presentation. That's going to be touring production, MTC, and SP1 and 2. And I'm sure Alsh is going to be getting the feedback from those winners as to what it was like for race 1, round 1, Malaysian Championship Series 2019, which is what you're watching if you've just joined us. That's our race leader for most of the race. For the first time, seeing this beautiful chassis from the Mercedes-AMG A45 take the MCS circuit and immediately hit the ground running. Not too much of a shock, you could think, for the German engineering in that car. Very smooth, as you can see, just rolls through the corners. The flash of exhaust, but really taking a very nice racing line through there. Hasn't really had to defend or attack any track position. After a lightning start, and also saw our pole position sitter, Mark Darwin, fall back to 26th before conceding. And that was pretty much over. And that is the big headline from today that we'll take into tomorrow's race 2, which is just afternoon. There is Keithley Othman now in the R Engineering number 77, about to rejoin the race, has to stay at pit lane speeds, of course. There, just at the bottom of your screen, was Tae Kian Booth, so it can't be that far. I'm going to say, if they're on the same lap, and they are on the same lap, that should be about 5, maybe 6 seconds. Let's find out now. Tae Kian Booth, Desmond So, I should say, has just confirmed that SD Wangan back in the lead. Abdul Qadir Mohammed is in second, and well, Lai Wei Singh now in that car, I should say, in second, and Keithley Othman in third. Actually, 11 seconds back, so slight misestimation there as we came around turn 15. But interestingly enough, Lai Wei Singh from the R Engineering team with a 2:32.403. That's the fastest we've seen tonight. Definitely looking to cut into that lead. It's an 8-second lead that Desmond So has inherited from a pretty good pit strategy from SD Wangan. So far, so good from the SD Wangan Racing team. Great start, good consolidation of that lead, good pit strategy and entrance, and now coming out the final cherry on the cake with some 14 minutes left in the race, and what looks like a really powerful car, 8.3 seconds ahead. And much as I'd love to say it, but Lai Wei Singh is currently, even though he's lapping very fast at 2:32.403, once again, the fastest we've seen tonight, that's not going to be fast enough to catch 8 seconds off that AMG. That's just my estimation. But let's wait and see. Still a lot can happen, of course, and that is barring no incident. That's without incident, I should say. So, with under 15 minutes left, let's have a look at the classes. Touring production, Desmond So, Lai Wei Singh and Keithley Othman in the top 3, William Ho and Rocky Xiao in 4th place there, but some way off now. In Sport Production 1, it's Ken Urata that's taken the lead. Masahiko Ida behind the wheel of that R-Works car now. Brendan Paul in 2nd place after having a very good run. Leona Chin, everything's worked out very nicely for her. Come out on top after the pit stop. Tedco Racing, the MTC class, Ong Cheong, just 1 second behind her. So there's a huge battle happening for the top two of MTC. And in SP2, well, this is the greatest news yet. Adi Rahimi Rashid, one of the EMCS competitors, was part of the Race Room Simulators last year, is topping SP2 right now. What a fantastic start to his racing career. And I'm sure the high-rev SIC Dream Chaser team are going to be very happy with that. Not so lucky this time around for Angeline Lee, the other ex-EMCS commentator, I should say, currently in 27th. But what a story, two big stories. Mark Darwin out pretty much from lap 1, but also Adi Rahimi Rashid topping the SP2 class. Really good stuff. Now, of course, that's a different lesson he's going to have to learn. Got to keep it calm now when you're in the lead. Can't be throwing away leads. Well, we've just heard that the first real punishment has been dished out, and that's for car number 57. It's going to be a stop-and-go penalty. 41 seconds for Benny Tai and Chok Kei Jun. That's really going to put a dent in their third place. Well, it's actually not going to take a dent into them, because I actually got that completely wrong. It's not. It's a 41-second penalty. And while we are celebrating right now this fantastic performance from Adi Rahimi Rashid, we should also be looking at the second place car in MTC. Adam Khalid from the SIC Talent Development Program in second spot behind Leona Chin, who of course a new driver this year. And could be, and I have to check, I'll actually confirm this tomorrow, if Leona does win the MTC, whether she's going to be the first female driver to have won an MCS class. Might be, of course, Geraldine Darlene Reed has been racing in MTC now for a couple of years, but I don't remember her picking up a win. So this could be history made up here. And of course, that opens up even more history if she can make it a double and pick up race 2 tomorrow. Right now, she's 2 seconds ahead of Adam Khalid in second spot. Not much, with 10 minutes left to go. And Leona, of course, has enough, not the first championship she's been running in. She's been running in a lot of other championships, and she's going to know she was also in S1K, the Sepang 1,000 kilometer race last year. There she is now, the 76 Tedco. Nice line on the inside. And nice line on the inside of turn 2 as well. Beautifully taken. Currently leading the MTC class, and I stand corrected, 4 seconds ahead of Adam Khalid now, so looking very, very good for that class win for Leona Chin. Now, Lai Wei Sing is not to be outdone. Maybe he heard me say that lapping at 2:32 would never get him 8 seconds, because he's dropped down to 2:31.5 now, and has actually cut that lead down to 4 seconds. So 2 stop-and-go penalties, one for car number 57 and one for car number 70. That's Hafiz Bachok. It's a 1 second penalty for Hafiz. And for Benny Tai, 41 seconds. Still haven't heard as to what Benny Tai actually did to earn that. But trust me when I tell you, race control are never wrong. So we have had a lot of incidents, but definitely the two big headlines, which are worth repeating right now at this late stage. Mark Darwin, defending champion of the touring production class, out on lap 1, essentially. He tried to struggle for a couple of laps, didn't quite make it, and is currently last in the field with just 5 laps as logged by his transponder. Adi Rahimi Rashid, the ex-EMCS Race Room Simulator pilot, I should say, making his race debut and topping the SP2 class. And of course, Adam Khalid in second spot in MTC, and Leonichin in top spot in MTC. Really great results so far. 8 minutes left on the clock for race 1. There is Adi, and I'm sure he's going to be thinking to himself, wow, turns 1 and turn 2 are really different when you're in a real car. Well, those race room simulators were absolutely fantastic. They did have, they were really, really lifelike, has to be said, but it's never going to compare to having, as you can see into the cockpit there, the helmet and the leathers and the fireproofs. Sitting in that roll cage and having to deliver through all of that, which is of course what racing drivers have to do. But right now he's doing fantastically well. He's 19 seconds ahead of Chong Kiat Wai, so it's not just a flash in the pan lead, nicely constructed lead. And looks like a penalty, yep, for number 70, as I was saying. 1 second stop and go for Hafiz Bachok and Ahmad Tamimi. Ahmad Tamimi is the driver that just came in. Seven minutes left to go. Pretty good performance for everyone. Just Benny Tai and Chok Kei-jun, as we know, had to serve a 41-second stop-and-go penalty. That might be why they're currently not logged by the computer. But Marcelino Buang in SP2 missing. Farid Sani and Ju Yong from Kagani Racing, one of the big fighters from MTC. Well, they're in the pits in 30th with just 10 laps completed. And Akid Azli and Mark Darwin, those are the 3 big DNFs, you could say. And there's a car just up at the top of your screen as well that looks to be out. That might even be Marcelino Buang. As for everybody else, well, touring production, ST Wangan with this great start to the season. Now, this looks like it's going to be, oh, this is, yes, this is going to be, have a look at that. That's brilliant. Rocket powered. Fantastic sight, caught in slow motion, and that looks like it's up by the, well, it should be just past turn 3. That's a very fast part of the course, and full afterburners for Desmond So right now. 4.9 seconds ahead of Lai Wei Sing. In truth, ST Wangan have responded well to that R Engineering sudden burst in speed. They've locked in at 231.977 now. The only 2 cars that have made it down to 231, ST Wangan and R Engineering. Everybody else 233 onwards. And now, am I right? No, in fact, that looked like that was Benny Tai and Chok Kei-jun. I'm pretty sure of it. Out in the gravel pit. Confirmed by the fact that my timing screen actually has a question mark next to it. So after their 41-second stop and go penalty, which should really go down in the headline book, they have found themselves off track with 5 minutes left to go. Now that's Angeline Lee taking it very nice and easy through 9 and 10. Angeline definitely easing herself into the season, as you can tell, and did have to deal with that spin earlier. To her credit, she corrected it very quickly and confidently. That was one of the early incidents. Now looking up at the front, as we just look at Angeline coming up on the back straight, I can tell you that up at the front, Lai Wei Sing is still trying. 6.3 seconds now, the gap between first and second in touring production. Brendan Paul looks to have eased off. They may have just been a reaction to a different pit strategy, but he's some 20 seconds off the lead now, which he had in Sport Production 1. And we've just got confirmation that that was, in fact, the Kagani Racing Swift of Chok Kei-jun that was in the gravel pit. Car 57, the latest addition to our list of retirees. Now this should be, yes it is, Ken Urato and Masahiko Ida. Masahiko will be behind the wheel of that car right now, topping the Sport Production 1 class, and you just saw there, 25 seconds behind them, Brendan Paul. Good start for him in this new class, was racing in MTC last year. So, I don't know, just a lot of great stories that could evolve from this opening throw of the dice tonight. 3 minutes left on the clock, as you can see. And that should mean just about a lap, or just over a lap for these guys. And it looks like with 20 laps completed, that SD1 Racing are going to be taking the first win of the touring production season. Well, a bit wide there from Masahiko. Out of turn 14. Not really under threat. It's only 25 seconds ahead of Brendan Paul right now. 6.5 seconds to lead in touring production. And, well, Leonichin looks to be, oh, just about 2 seconds ahead, actually, of Adam Khalid. Sorry, make that 8 seconds ahead of Adam Khalid. So that's looking pretty much like a win for Leonichin as well. So a pole and a win for her. And that's, I said I'll confirm this tomorrow for race 2, but I'm going to stick my neck out and say that's the first time that we've had a pole and win combination from female driver up in the MCS. Leonichin once again breaking new barriers and setting her own historical rules. Malaysia's famous drift champion is now going to have a nice victory under her belt here at MCS as well. In SB2, still Adi Rahimi Rashid, 18 seconds ahead of Takahisho Ito. But nobody, none of them, none of those teams and none of those drivers is going to stop this car. Now, 1 minute left, 1 hour plus leader, so this should be the last lap around turn 15. And based on the smooth efficiency of the team and the car, you'd have to really say that something unbelievable would have to happen to the SD1 Racing team and this Mercedes AMG A45 if they were going to, 1, not win the race, and 2, actually lose all their points. Headlights at night to clear the way. Last lap it is. That is, in fact, Lai Wei Sing. Well, I was just saying that Brendan Paul had done extremely well to be in second spot in his first season in SB Production 1, but being a commentator and having a commentator's curse, I've just heard that that 91 car has hit a bit of mechanical problems. Not off the track yet, but losing speed and losing time. And we'll just see if we can catch him on the screen. But Brendan Paul, unfortunately, may not be, well, is now going to have to nurse that car around on the last lap. Meanwhile, as we look at more MTC action, that's Mirza Shahimi, who was in a huge fight with Rashid Ramlan. Rashid Ramlan seems to have dropped off that pack now in SB2. Both of them being eaten up rather rapidly by that number 22 car that has ruled the roost from start to finish. You could say that probably helped by not the best start from Mark Darwin, and you could say a couple of other cars as well, but the rest of it, from lap 1 to lap 21 now, has been pretty flawless. From Tae Kyan Boon first, who got in a good 7-second lead before the pit window opened, and then Desmond So got in and got that lead back up to 7 seconds. It was down to 4 seconds at one point ahead of Lai Wei-Sing. But looks like they're going to end this race with a clear 7.5 seconds. Extremely well done. And here they are coming around turn 15. Our first winner for the 2019 Malaysian Championship Series is a new winner. Congratulations to Tae Kian Boon and Desmond So and the ST Wangan Racing team. Will this mean that we're going to see someone else joining the fight? R Engineering and Tedco Racing really were the two, and Dr. Mayhem Racing, as we said, were the three teams that really fought it out for the championship last year. Well, now ST Wangan have a very competitive car and two drivers that can deliver on the day as well. So Abdul Qatir Mohammed and Lai Wei-Sing do finish in second. R Engineering get their first points of the season, and they should be getting even more points as Nasri Saad, or Kifli Othman, I should say, behind the wheel of that number 77 R Engineering car should be coming through. Leona Chin has indeed won the MTC class. She's going to be very happy with that. Adam Khalid has finished in second for the High Rev Dream Chaser team, and Chin Hua Lip in third, Chai Kok Ho in fourth, and Shazuli Hisham Harun in fifth in SP Production. It is a win, and a confirmed win, for that ex-EMCS competitor, new MCS driver, Adi Rahimi Rashid, who's going to feel a little bit different when he gets out of this car than when he got out of the simulator. I can tell you that for a fact. Very good performance, and really the capping glorious highlight from the entire EMCS season last year. This is why that season was set up by the Sepang International Circuit, so that they could unearth new talent. Well, what if Adi Rahimi Rashid takes this win, opening class win in Sport Production 2, and takes it all the way this season? I'll be here to watch that. Hopefully you'll be as well. Don't go anywhere just yet, of course, because we have got our podiums coming up for touring production. Sport Production 1 and 2, and MTC as well. There are our winners making their way to Parc Fermé. Great teamwork from their drivers. And they are going to come into scrutineering first. And meanwhile, all the other finishers coming through. R Engineering, well, it's been a very good run for them. They've had finishers from Paul Fan, Leon Koo, Kifli Othman and Lai Wei-Sing, but we were wondering where Brendan Paul would be, and he hasn't finished. Was 25 seconds, was leading Sport Production 1 for most of the race, and was in second place, just 25 seconds behind up to the last lap. Then we heard there were mechanical issues. That went down, the lead went down to 40 seconds, and now we haven't actually logged him as finishing, so we're going to have to say, based on this information right now, that Brendan Paul is another one of our DNFs. A lot he can take away from this race. Of course, first time up in SP Production, that class anyway, and leading it as well and coming second, but a little bit more to do. And don't forget, not much of a turnaround for all of these classes, all of these cars, and all of these drivers before tomorrow's race 2. That's going to be happening just after noon at 12:20, if I'm right. And it'll be interesting to hear from these drivers as to what tonight's race was like as well. We'll be getting to hear from them very soon. All the cars now heading to Parc Fermé, as you can see, in scrutineering. And let's have a look at the final results. There you go, confirmation. Desmond So, Tae Kian Boon with a 1:01.50.032 to get top spot. R Engineering takes second and third. through Lai Wei-Sing and Keith Lee Hoffman's drives. William Ho in 4th, Ken Urata in 5th. Leonid Chin with that good win for MTC in 6th overall. Zuraimi and Ahmad Tamimi in 7th. Ong Chi-yong, Adam Khalid in 8th. That's also MTC. Paul Fan and Leon Koo take us up to 10th spot. 11th, Chin Hua Lip. Chai Kok Ho in 12th. Shazuli Isham in 13th. There is Adi Rahimi Rashid. I keep pointing him out because he wasn't a racer before today. Now he definitely is. 14th overall, but heading up. SP2, don't forget. Chong Kiat Wai, Hayden Mohammed, Tam Yuki, Nashiruddin, Rashid Ramlan, and Mirza Shahimi take us up to 20th. And this is where the shocks will be. Alif Hamdan, 21st. Azwan Razali, 22nd. Shafiq and Shasha in 23rd. Angeline Lee, the second of the ex-EMCS competitors, 24th. Larry On and Yip Kian Hong in 25th. And here we get to the DNFs. Farid Sani and Ju Yong, such big fighters last year. Mark Darwin, defending champion for touring production, out. Brendan Paul, out just now. Hafiz Batchok and Benny Tai and Chok Kejun as well, out. And those are the DNFs for today. Hopefully they can do better in tomorrow's race 2. Now, we're just going to wait for the podiums to come up. Do stick with us here in the official live stream for the Sepang International Circuit. Before we get there, we're going to have a look back at today's, or tonight's race, I should say. Under the lights of Sepang, it started now. Having a look back at this start, there's the red car right in the middle of your screen. You see how it's dropping off the pace down. Look at the wonderful move from Tae Kian Boon to come in and take top spot from that. Lai Wei-Sing and Abdul Qatir just second there into turn 1. Very good start from them, but look at the amount of time and distance that ST Wangan Racing Team immediately found off the start. It was a very big fight after that. These were the 2R engineering cars. Fighting it out, and this was the unfortunate result for Mark Darwin and Akid Azli. 3 laps completed before they came into the pits. After that, it was pretty much a free-for-all, as we're used to seeing in the Malaysian Championship Series. A lot of battles in the MTC class. At some points, just 1 second between 4 to 5 cars. This was one of the standout performers. At number 90 car, Adi Rahimi Rashid, will be remembered being an ex-EMCS competitor that was topping the class. That's what happened to the other ex-EMCS competitor, Angeline Lee. A bit of a spin early on. Meanwhile, Brendan Paul jumped up to Sport Production 1 this year, had a great race, but unfortunately didn't manage to finish it out. Just the last lap, retired. Good fight there we just saw between Rashid Ramlan and Mirza Shahimi in MTC, but in the end, it was a very solid performance from this popping, crackling, and flaming Mercedes AMG A45 from ST Wangan Race Team. No one was troubling them. They had a great pit stop strategy, and they came out on top. That is the big fight I was talking about between Rashid Ramlan and Mirza Shahimi. And of course, we have to say a lot about Malaysia's favorite drift champion, who is now become an MCS winner as well. Leonid Chin in the 1976, I should say, Tedco Racing. Swift topping the MTC class, and of course she got pole as well. So a very, very rewarding first day in MCS for Leonid Chin. What can you say about this man? He's going to think that he's pretty much won the championship already. Adi Rahimi Rashid. There are drivers that have graduated and are being trained by the SIC development team, but then there are ones that have been invited. We're going to go for a quick break. We'll be back with the podium presentation, so stay with us here on the official live stream of the Sepang International Circuit.
Run towards your dream, because the moment you stop running, the moment you stop fighting, is the day you will lose it. That dream is not going to wait and say, take a breather. It's going to say, come catch me. Catch me if you can.
Yokohama.
Hi, I'm Andrea Dovizioso. I'm so happy to be back in Malaysia. See you at the race in Sepang in November.
Hello Malaysia, are you ready for MotoGP? I am. Jumpa di Sepang, 3rd of November.
Hello Malaysia, are you ready for MotoGP? I am. Jumpa di Sepang, 3 November.
Hi, I'm Johan Zarco. I'm so happy to be back in Malaysia, and I will see you in Sepang at the race on November 3rd, 2019.
Hi, I'm Paul Espargaró. I am so happy to be back in Malaysia. And I will see you at the race in Sepang this 3rd of November of 2019. See you there. Ciao, ciao.
Hello Malaysia, are you ready for the MotoGP? I am. Jumpa di Sepang 3rd in November.
Towards your dream. Because the moment you stop running, the moment you stop fighting, is the day you will lose it. That dream is not going to wait and say, take a breather. It's going to say, come catch me. Catch me if you can.
Yokohama.
Welcome back to the official live stream of the Sepang International Circuit. As you can see, racing is done for the day. A lot of championships that were happening today. Thanks to everyone that turned up at the circuit. Of course, everyone for watching as well. The cars for the MCS are already in scrutineering, as you can see in Parc Fermé. We're just getting ready for the podium presentations, so do stand by. It's just on its way now, so stick with us right here. Now, while we are waiting for that podium to turn up, once again, a lot of new initiatives happening this year at the Sepang International Circuit. Not just MCS, MSBK, and S1K. There is that happening as well. The Malaysia World Finals from the 13th to 15th of December, and it is the brand new EWC weekend. 2 championships, 2 wheels and 4 wheels as well, and the first ever 8 hours of Sepang, a brand new event that's going to be starting that weekend. And not only is it going to be wonderful to watch, being an 8-hour race, it is also going to serve as the qualifiers for the 8 hours of Suzuka in Japan. So really rich reward for anybody that takes part in that. And get on the website, www.sepangcircuit.com. Find out more about this EWC Malaysia World Finals weekend. And, of course, MCS, MSBK, and S1K as well. We'll be back with that podium in just a bit. Now that podium is just on the way, and obviously, I did say MCS, MSBK, S1K, EWC. How about that? MotoGP back again, always a sellout up here at the Sepang International Circuit. And you just saw some of the most famous MotoGP riders in the world inviting you to be down here for the 3rd of November. Another one of those huge events that you need to check the information for on the official website, www.sepangcircuit.com. But obviously, if you have been watching this on the Facebook page, do get your friends to like and support that page, and make sure that they're in tune. Just out of, for information's sake, also note down your calendars the 5 rounds for MCS this year. This was round 1. Of course, round 2 is going to be on the 19th to 21st of April, later this month. Round 3 is going to be after, of course, the month of Ramadan, the holy month of Ramadan, 12th to 14th of July. Round 4 is going to be in the 23rd to 25th of August, and round 5, the 27th to 29th of September. So that's the 19th to 21st of April for round 2, 12th to 14th of July for round 3, 23rd to 25th of August for round 4, and that 300-kilometer endurance race that is the signature end to the MCS season will be on the 27th to 29th of September. But once again, you can write it down, or you can just get onto the official website, www.sepangcircuit.com. Lots of other things that you can see and get involved with on that site as well. As you can see, you can take your own car onto the Sepang International Circuit for, I think, is a very reasonable rate indeed. Go-kart circuit and plenty of other driving and general motorsport involved. There you go. You can test your go-kart circuits up at the custom-built go-kart track up here in Sepang as well. We'll be back with that podium in just a bit. As you can see, just about ready now on the official live stream for the Sepang International Circuit for the podium presentation. First podium of the Malaysia Championship Series 2019. 4 classes will be coming onto this podium. Touring production, of course, Sport Production 1, Sport Production 2, and MTC as well. Some of our VIPs from the Sepang International Circuit will be there. Touring production, I've just heard, is going to be the first podium up. And that's going to see a very happy Desmond So and Tae Kian Boon, and of course the ST Wangan Racing Team. Just a quick word about the ST Wangan Racing Team. Yes, they did win touring production. Let's not forget that they also picked up a 3rd spot in Sport Production 2 as well from Mohammed Hayden. So double reason to celebrate this first night of the MCS. We should be seeing Abdul Qatir Mohammed, Laiwi Singh, Mohamed Nasri, Mohamed Said, Kifli Othman in 2nd and 3rd, and of course Tae Kian Boon and Desmond So. This is just the latest podium for today, as there have been plenty of championships that have been running up here. Once again, congratulations to Hadrian David for a good result in race 1 for the F4C Championship. Luca Engsler for TCR Asia, winning those early on. Ukyo Sasahara winning 2 races in F3. As you can hear, the winners being invited to the podium. Mohammed Nasri Said and Kifli Othman, there they are. Abdul Qatir Mohammed and Laiwi Singh pick up 2nd spot. Tae Kian Boon, Desmond So from ST Wangan Racing take the win. And Mr. Jason Chow, the Assistant Sales Manager, Wai Chai Marketing, to give out the beautiful trophies this year. And there's Nasri Said and Kifli Othman. So our first winners for round 1, race 1 of the Malaysia Championship Series 2019.
Thank you, Mr. Jason, and congratulations to all the winners.
All right, good evening, fans. We are with the winners of the TP of the Malaysian Championship Series Round 1, Race 1. And with me is car number 22 from the ST Wangan Racing Team. Gentlemen, what a start for the first race, Round 1. How do you feel right now?
I feel that the floor is a bit wet for us, and that we have difficulty during the turns. But we're lucky we have managed to pull through the whole race.
So what the team strategized for you both today? Did it work out, or was there any bit of complications during the race?
The complication is that we have some tire issue. That because that our car that is quite heavy, so that will be damage some the tires. So that's why we have to, during the turns, we have to slow down our cars that we cannot push too hard. If not, our tire will have some problem. Yeah.
All right, gentlemen. Congratulations once again. Thank you very much. Back to you, Jeevan.
Thanks for that, Ash. Well, how about that? We thought that they were having a pretty flawless run, but according to Kanbun and Desmond So, a few niggling issues that they had to deal with, especially in turns and corners, and a lot of moisture on the track as well. So onto the MTC. Congratulations to Leona Chin.
Once again, it's my honor to invite Mr. Jesse Cho, Assistant Sales Manager, Yokohama Marketing Relations, in order to present all the trophies to the winner.
She's going to be very happy with that. And congratulations to Chin Hua Lip, Admi Sharul, Adam Khalid, and Ong Chi Yong. And to the winner of the MTC class, Leona Chin. And that is a historical sight, as that is our first confirmed MCS female winner.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm with the MTC winner, driver number 76, Leona Chin from the TEDCO Racing Team. Leona, how does it feel being the female leading the boys up front?
I feel very happy because this is the first time I ever joined Malaysian Championship Series, and I qualified pole and finished first. Big thank you to TEDCO Racing for believing in me and trusting me into giving me drive this. Also, thank you to Nick Ma. He cannot make it today, but I drove solo and proved to the guys that I can drive. Yes.
All right, congratulations once again, Leona. All right, enjoy your evening. Back to you, Jeevan.
Well, I did say that she was going to be very proud of that. And very happy indeed. No significant problems to report for Leona Chin in MTC. And we're going to see if she can now make even more history by making it a double win from the weekend by picking up race 2 tomorrow as well. Based on her performance today, you'd have to say that it's a pretty good bet. That's the Malaysia Touring class done. S Production 1 should be up next.
And the winner, SP1 category, cars number 55 from Artwood, Gen Utara, Mashahito Ida.
So Paul Fan, Zuraimi, Mustafa, Ahmad Tamimi, and Kenurata and Masahiko Ita, the 3 winners, with of course Kenurata and Masahiko taking the win for SP1. Tom HH, the SIC head of track and sporting, giving out the prizes for SP1. Good to see our podium girls, grid girls out there, first of the season. And it's just gone past 10 o'clock in the evening now. Congratulations to all of our S Production 1 race winners. May they do well in race 2.
Thank you, Mrs. Zhang, and congratulations to all the winners.
Can you come here? First place.
All right, good evening once again, ladies and gentlemen. With me right now is the winners for the SP1 category, car number 55, R-Works Racing Team, Ken Urata, Masahiko Ida. Kumbawa, gentlemen. So, how does it feel winning the first race for round one?
Yeah, I didn't expect this portion. I was mistaken when I start, but still nice, good pace. And then my co-driver Ida-san also good drive. Yeah, it was happy.
All right, gentlemen, congratulations once again. See you for tomorrow's race. Back to you, Jivan.
Well, it's great words there from our SP1 winners, and they'll be looking for a good performance tomorrow as well. One more podium to come, and that is going to be, of course, S Production 2, and this is going to be very big indeed.
From SP Wagon Racing Team, Muhammad Haidan Muhammad Haikal.
There is that second piece of good news for the SD1 Racing Team.
Cars number 289 from Rios Racing.
Chongkyat Wai
and Takashi Ito.
Takashi Ito, good start for Rios Racing, and this is going to be the moment.
SP2 category, cars number 90 from High Ref SIC Dream Chaser, Adil Rahimi Rashid.
It's his race debut after winning the EMCS Championship last year, and he's come out with a 24-second ahead lead in the SP2 class. Fantastic performance from Adi Rahimi Rashid and the High Rev SIC Dream Chaser team. Once again, Mr. Tam HH, SIC Head of Track and Sporting, with the trophies. Will that be the first of many trophies for Adi? Well, we'll find out tomorrow. And a big congratulations to all of the winners today from Touring Production, SP1, SP2, and MTC. Some great stories that have turned out from this first day of racing for the Malaysian Championship Series 2019 season.
Thank you, Mr. Tom, and congratulations to all the winners. See you tomorrow for race 2. Good night.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, with me is the winner for the SP2 category from the High Rev SIC Dream Chaser Racing Team, car number 90, Adi Rahimi Rashid. Adi, from virtual simulation to real-life racing, how does it feel winning the first race for round one?
Right now, I'm truly speechless. Really thank God, and million thanks to my team, High Rev SIC Dream Chaser Racing Team. I'm glad to have them on my side. Yeah, really, I can't believe it right now. Sure.
All right, congratulations. Look out for race 2 for tomorrow, all right? Back to you, Jivan.
Thanks a lot, Ash. What a performance from Adi Rahimi Rashid and everybody else and all the other drivers that took part in today's round 1, race 1 for the Malaysian Championship Series 2019. That's it from us up at the Sepang International Circuit. Don't forget, race 2 is just after noon tomorrow, but be here for all the other championships that are happening. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow here at the Sepang International Circuit.